Why, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Let's restart. No, it's fine. It's fine. Fuck it. I'm Sal. What's up?
Josiah.
Nathan.
All right. Star Trek, Episode 2. No need introductions. You already know who we are if you're fucking here. This is a series. You know who we are.
We are boldly going where no man has ever gone before.
Except for they have been doing it since like the 60s. But it's fine.
No, but I think he means doing a retrospective, doing every single episode and movie.
And hopefully, after this is all done, we'll all play Star Trek Online together.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
That's why earlier on Facebook I was looking up Star Trek Online Let's Plays to see like how
I played it a lot. My
Yeah?
character's at level 50 already.
You are speaking a foreign language to me.
It's like Old Republic. Kinda. I played it at the same time as Old Republic, so.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if you want to see us play Star Trek Online.
Yeah.
So this week we watched The Naked Time, The Enemy Within, and Mud's Women. So Josiah, tell us what The Naked Time's about.
Basically, the plot of The Naked Time is the Enterprise is circling this planet, and the outpost they lost contact with it, the classic lose contact with the outpost type thing, and they beamed some people down in some really not airtight looking suits. I think those need to be checked at. They refined that later on, thankfully. They beam down there and they're like, what's this? Everybody's died in a very weird way, and like this guy just sat here while this guy strangled a woman. This guy took a shower with his took a shower with his clothes on and froze to death. The life support system got turned off. Basically just mass chaos and people acting just bizarre. And so they're like, we don't know what could have caused this. Maybe some form of space madness we don't know about. And so they go back up, and I think the guy's name is Joe. Joe gets infected, and he goes back up, and then he starts acting really oddly. And eventually, basically, he tries to kill himself, and he dies in the operating table because he lost the will to live.
Yeah, and he tried to kill himself, by the way, with like a butter knife.
Yeah, and it was painful.
And it's one of the instances of Star Trek people don't bleed red blood; they bleed raspberry jam. Like,
I couldn't tell it was beneath his shirt, so.
Yeah, sure.
And
it wasn't even. That was straight purple.
Yeah, it was
that
purple.
Wasn't remotely
it was
red.
Bad.
Yeah, he's not Klingon. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Also, by the way, this episode is one of the fastest racist Spock moment because at 5 minutes and 30 seconds, we have a racist Spock moment.
That's great.
Like, I think it might be even before the cold open. It's like immediate.
Yeah.
Immediate racism.
Assuming you call that green stuff in your veins blood.
And so the virus affects other people, gets into Sulu, gets into Riley. Both of them have extreme reactions, one of which is infinitely more awesome than the other. One of which is more annoying than the other.
I'll take you home again, Madeline.
And so it just starts affecting everyone, and we get some really nice emotional moments where basically the characters are like, there's no like limit to who they are. There's no higher brain functions keeping them from doing stupid shit or getting really emotional. So like Spock has a breakdown, Kirk has a breakdown.
In the same room, by the way. They take turns with their breakdowns.
They take turns,
like Spock's fucking speech when he's breaking down is incredible.
Oh, it is.
My duty is to...
And so Sulu, he's terrorizing the ship. He's running around with his rapier. Because last week it was botany, and now he's doing fencing. Like, this guy is unstoppable.
Yeah. Which is what led to... That one scene led to the fucking Star Trek reboot scene.
Yep, yes it did. And so Riley starts crooning as he takes control of the ship somehow. It wasn't very clear. He
goes into engineering and like he shuts down everything.
Yeah, it's weird. And then they basically find a cure eventually, and
isn't it water?
It's
something simple.
What happened was that the water evolved into a complex chain of molecules, and so it passes through perspiration, and then it basically was like a super drunk disease.
Yeah,
like
everyone basically got drunk this episode.
Which is passed on in a very subtle way as the cast members very non-conspicuously rub their hands while a rattlesnake is played in the background.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was cool like the first few times, but they did it every single time.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, it wasn't as subtle as the man trap, where people just do the finger thing, and it's like, we get it.
Yeah. Also, this episode is the first appearance of Nurse Chapel, I believe.
Was she in it?
Yeah. Wasn't that Nurse Chapel?
Are you sure it's not Janice?
No, it was Nurse.
Yeah, no, it was Nurse Chapel being like, Spock, I'm in love with you, and I was like, but Ahura.
Oh,
yeah, man, it's Nurse
that
Chapel.
was Nurse Chapel. That's awesome. Okay,
yeah, this is
cool.
her first episode. I made sure to make a point of it because I love Nurse Chapel.
Okay, cool.
Because Nurse Chapel's fucking hot.
Yeah.
Just gonna put it out there.
We're gonna get a lot of attractive women on this episode. That's for sure. But anyway, so let's go into the Naked Time. Starting out, I noticed that the planet name was Psi 2000.
Yeah, that was PSI.
I did like how the set looked, how it was all frozen.
Yeah, no,
I like that.
Like someone went through with like one of those cans of like snow you get at the party store and just doused the set. Though the mannequin was bad.
I swear I must like not be paying close enough attention because the effects are just.
Dude, I'm paying super close attention, and I'm watching it on my roommate's big TV whenever he's not here.
Oh, that's probably why.
And I'm just like,
really small.
I'm being very attentive, and I'm pausing, I'm going back, I'm making sure I've seen things right.
Oh, okay, that's why.
I'm being very close. I'm paying close attention to it to make sure that I catch all the. Okay, that's the thing though. I catch all the bullshit, but I still love it regardless.
Oh, of course. One thing I liked was the way the virus shoots out from the blood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When it comes towards his hand.
Yeah, the blood just like squirms towards Joe's hand and just like gets into his skin. I thought that was a decent effect.
Yeah, it looks like it's dripping sideways. It's very weird.
Yeah. One thing I forgot in the plot was the reason that there's problems going on with Riley turning the stuff off is they're orbiting this planet that's disintegrating.
Yeah. And
they have to stay close to monitor it, but not too close. And then eventually Kirk just says, fuck it, we're going to kill ourselves. We have to get out of here. And, isn't it that they do... Sorry, I got the episodes mixed up. Isn't this... They have to do the 1 in 10,000 chance of implosion?
Yes.
And they go slightly back in time.
My chronometer's running backwards, sir.
And they invent fucking so time travel.
That was, and then it's the end of the episode, but I just want to address it now. When he said the fucking line, "We can use this whenever we want. Maybe we'll use that in the future," I burst out laughing because I'm like, "No, you fucking won't."
Yeah, man, whales.
No, there's so many time travel methods, and the Federation never preserves them. They're stupid.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they also just found out they can go back in time. There's nothing that suggests they'd be able to go back forward. So yeah. I assume that one of the science officers was just like, Captain, this is a terrible idea. We should never do this. And he's like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, also, I assume they found the formula was not as sound as they thought it was.
Also, this episode has if not the first, one of the first Vulcan neck grabs.
Yes, I noted that too.
And then
on Sulu,
which was awesome because Kirk is like, "Yeah, the teach me that sometime," and I'm like, "But that's the first time you saw it. What are you talking about?"
Off screen, you know.
Oh, a cool quote because I remembered last episode. By the way, guys, I wrote down notes, audience members this time. There's a cool quote. I think it's whenever the red shirt Joe was talking. It was like when he first comes back on the ship and he's sort of like, "Ah, fuck, man. I don't know if all this is for me." And Kirk says,
I keep wondering. You keep wondering if man was meant to be out here. You keep wondering, you keep signing on.
That was a good line.
Yeah, no, and then he followed that up with, you keep wondering if man was meant to be out here. And I was like, damn.
That whole scene leading up to him, like, going, I can't do it anymore, I have to kill myself, was, like,
his breakdown.
Amazing.
If a man was supposed to fly, he'd have wings. If he was supposed to be out in space, he wouldn't need air to breathe.
It was good. This
is the episode of awesome, like, just monologues.
It did. It had a lot of great quotes.
Which is what Star Trek's all about, I think.
I think so, yeah. Like, especially when you get to Next Gen. Nathan actually posted earlier how you said Picard was boring. And I was saying, like, well, the thing is that the reason I like Picard a whole lot, even though he doesn't really get into fights as much as Kirk, is that Patrick Stewart delivers monologues in such a way that it makes a climax to an episode.
Yeah.
Like, you can literally just end an episode with a Patrick Stewart monologue. It's like, that was the most action-packed thing I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, I can also, like, I also respect that he acts more like a captain than Kirk does, and maybe having him fly off and double fist punch something isn't something that a decorated Starfleet captain should be doing on a regular basis.
Well, because in The Enemy Within, the next episode, Kirk's like, I have to act like a captain, so I'm going to go risk my life.
Yeah.
Yes.
But so one thing I want everyone to notice is that now that Scotty is officially here, because Scotty wasn't really here last week. He was sort of wishy-washy on his appearances. But I think he was in every episode this week, and I think he's going to be in every episode continuing. Is the actor who plays Scotty, I believe one of his hands has 4 fingers.
Oh.
So whenever they do a close-up on him doing the Energizer, it's someone else's hands.
Oh.
But in wide shots, if you notice, he'll always keep one hand kind of either to himself, behind something, and he'll use his other hand more often.
Oh.
I don't know if it's this episode, but
or James Doohan.
It's all the episodes. But it's this whenever he's in the shaft and he's putting the explosives down.
Yeah.
If you notice, one hand is always down and kind of curled up.
Oh.
And he's just using the one. And he's very careful on if anyone can see his hand. And whenever he's at the control panel, let's say it's a shot from the left. I believe it's his right hand that's has the 4 fingers. You only see his left hand, and his other hand will be behind the monitor. But when it cuts to the right, his right hand will be on the other side of the monitor where it wasn't before.
Oh, yeah, so I feel bad now. I feel bad for him.
But if you keep out for it, because I did, he always hides his right hand.
I feel like I don't know why. Maybe he has a thing about it, but I feel like even if he has, it's probably something that he felt shy about. But I feel like they could have kept that in as a character trait. Maybe not like made a big deal of it, but it could have been there. Nobody would. They've been like, "Oh, it was an accident." Engineering.
I mean, it's 0 to 60 with the original series, because I mean, you could have had Spock be like slightly alienish and not make a big deal about it, or you could have racist moments every 5.5 minutes.
Well, speaking of that, there's this line in the racist moment. Bones says, "Assuming you call that green stuff in your veins blood." And I was like, damn. Like in the movie Wrath of Khan, when he says, "You green-blooded, inhuman," I was like, oh, this is a thing that happens every once in a while. Now, he pretty much says this all the time.
Yeah, I was like, damn, that's harsh.
And Spock's like, bitch, you think you can insult me?
Again, it's the racist moment of the episode that they have to have. Except, I don't think it happens in Enemy Within. No. I didn't catch a racist moment.
It's not going to be every episode, but it's often.
It's most episodes, and it's always really... Again, we discussed it last week, but we get it. We understand. It's still fucking weird.
Well, in this episode, I think, with Spock's breakdown, it was good to highlight it again.
Oh, yeah.
Which we'll get to that. Let's see. Going through it, Sulu has a rapier.
It's gnarly. Being someone who fences himself, that scene's awesome.
Yeah. Sulu can do basically anything. He's a fighter. He's a botanist. He could put a poison plant like juice on the end of his blade and just kill you.
Wait, are you saying Sulu is the fucking Viper?
Yes. Sulu is Oberyn Martell. It's just the way it is.
Oh, yeah.
And we got fucking George Takei running around with the rapier, and it's so great. And it's such a classic moment. And he says, "No, father," and he pretends like he's a musketeer and shit.
Yeah, and Spock calls him D'Artagnan at one point.
He does. Yeah.
Also, wait, there's a bowling alley in the Enterprise?
Apparently.
What? How do you have room for that?
There will be a formal dance in the bowling alley at 1900 hours tonight.
I wanted to talk about the breakdown scenes.
Yes.
Spock says 2 lines that I think that really affected me. He says, "I could never tell my mother that I loved her."
Yeah.
And god damn, there's such a big moment. And then later on he says to Kirk, "I feel shame that we have a friendship," or something.
Oh,
and I was like, damn.
Yeah, it's like when I feel friendship for you, I'm ashamed.
See, I did like that. I didn't like how he had initially started with his emotional bit when he was with the chick. I forget her name. Yeah. Like I didn't really like that, and seeing him breaking down there because I don't know, it just felt really off.
And it's weird for us because it's our first Chapel episode, so it's like we don't even know who she is yet, and we're like, I guess,
like, Spock, I love you, and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
It's like, wait, who are you? You're new. Yeah, what's up?
Again, the old days of TV shows when you could film things and write things way out of order.
I couldn't even fucking imagine it.
I'm looking at the episode list right now, and it's horrifying because they have the production code next to the release. So it's like 6, 8, 2, 7, 5, 4, 10, 12, and it's like, what the shit? Like,
yeah. And then Kirk has his breakdown, and I think the line I took away from that was, "This vessel I give, she takes," and he was comparing it to like the Enterprise is his great love that's hurts him, but he needs it.
And he made some passing line about him being attracted to Yeoman Rand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was very weird.
Yeah. Well, in The Enemy Within, they pretty much confirm, hey, they want to do stuff, but
yeah,
it's not proper.
Speaking of The Enemy Within...
Well, here, let me see if I have anything on ours.
Hurry the fuck up, Josiah!
I'm sorry.
Not all of us have 3 pages on this episode.
It was a page and a quarter. So yeah, they time traveled. They time traveled, and Kirk says the line,
"We've got to risk implosion,"
which I liked. But it was a weird end to an episode. But I gotta say, I think The Naked Time's probably I don't know if it's my favorite, but I'd say ranking this one, I'd put it in the good category. It's a classic episode. Yeah, they find the cure a bit too fast, but...
And the fact that they like find the cure and then it goes on for a little bit more where, at that point I'm just sort of like, they found the cure. I know this is all going to get resolved. They just have to do it.
And then time travel happens and you're like, wait, what?
And then time travel happens. You're just like, we have
everyone
the next 3 days to live over.
Everyone is so chill.
Not even a thank fucking Christ we didn't explode, because that was almost that's almost exactly what was supposed to happen. But
yeah, just I guess time travel happened, whatever.
Yeah, that was so bizarre, especially because I know how many more time travel stories they're gonna do.
But anyway,
so, Enemy Within.
Nathan, tell us what that episode's about.
Enemy Within. So we have the crew of the USS Enterprise is doing a geological exploration of this planet.
Mm-hmm. Specimen gathering.
Yes. When geologist Fisher, I'm looking this up, he tumbles off a minor cliff and lands in some yellow dust, and so he's like, "Hey, this hurts like shit. I should go. Sorry about this, guys. I didn't mean to fuck up, but I fucked up." And they're just like, "Well, yeah, we know. You go to medical bay." So he gets beamed up, and they're just like, "What the fuck is this yellow shit?" And he's like, "I don't know, guys. I'm sorry.
I just work here."
So they're just like, okay, get that decontaminated. And just like, oh, I'm sure this will be fine.
By the way, quick little anecdote. It's weird that he says go get that decontaminated, but in the previous episode we saw that you could do it in the transporter room.
Oh.
But he goes somewhere else to do it?
It got broken.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So then a little bit later, almost immediately after, Kirk is just like, hey, ready to come back up, and like, okay, cool. They bring him up, but they kind of go, wait, something's weird with the transporter, and he's like, oh, that was really strange. I feel like shit. So they take him to medical bay too, and of course everyone leaves, so no one else sees this happen. But immediately after bringing Kirk out, we see, Kirk again with eyeliner, and what the fuck?
Evil Kirk.
Evil Kirk, who
in my notes, written in caps, it darkened and bolded in, is Evil Kirk.
Oh yes. It's immediately clear that this is bad. That he looks around the room with this sultry glare, and he's
oh god, he wants to fuck the ship. He grabs the console. He's like, I'm gonna fuck.
He does.
I'm married to this ship.
I liked that scene. It was over the top. But I think what kind of ruined it for me was how Kirk was immediately monologuing, where it's just like, I didn't know at the time, but it seemed an evil version of me was aboard. And I was just like, well,
thanks for telling me the episode.
Past tense. I don't know when the past tense stops, but it's not a regular part of the show.
I don't like it.
They do it twice.
That's not good.
Especially because he has that sultry look. We know the dog got duplicated. Or no, wait, we don't know that yet. But he has this sultry look of evil, this sneer, and he's got eyeliner on, and the music is sinister. You don't need to tell me that there's an evil version of Kirk there now. I get it. Okay.
But then he wanders off, and then Scotty comes back to beam up the dog that is in a fancy costume to look like an alien.
It's so cute.
That was so amazing. Yeah.
Oh, it's so adorable.
And throughout the episode, throughout the episode, they always hold this dog.
Oh, who wouldn't?
I know, it's so cute. Anyway, sorry.
So they beam up the dog with no one with it for some reason. They decide to just beam up the dog. That's all they need to do. So they beam him up, and it's like, oh, hey, look, weirdly, another dog came up that's exactly the same, except it's feral and needs to be put down. And so apparently from this, they gather rather rapidly that the dust that was on Fisher caused some sort of problem with the transporter that created Evil Dog. And then they leave the very ambiguous note of, if it happened to a man, dramatic looks. I'm trying to remember what happened. Evil Kirk goes to Bones.
And it's like, give me a brandy.
Yeah, just like, sorry, get brandy. And it was just like, Jim, I'm in the middle of something. Let me hold on. Okay, you go ahead. Okay, what did you want? Give me the brandy. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay,
my next note.
Thing to do.
My next note is Evil Kirk gets rapey.
Yes. Why? Poor Janice. Why does every evil motherfucker
just want to fuck Janice?
It's so bad.
To be fair, this is the no inhibitions Kirk. So no inhibitions, men and Janice. I mean, come now.
Well, I mean, Janice is extremely beautiful, but I just mean it's been a consistent thing every time there's...
Yeah, every script is, and then someone tries to fuck Janice.
Yeah. It's a running joke. Like, I feel bad for her, the poor woman. She's gonna leave Starfleet.
And then after Evil Kirk gets all rapey, she's like giving the report to Kirk, and they're like really close. And I'm like, Kirk, give her some space. She thinks you just tried to rape her.
I will say, I do wish that... So we have drunken Evil Kirk trying to, like, rape her, which I'm very surprised how that is a recurring thing in this 60s show of super rapiness.
Yeah.
But that scene was so dark.
Oh, it is.
Like, at least with Charlie X, he was supposed to be a kid, but here it's like, oh, he said just a minute, Jan. This is so dark, jeez.
Don't force me, Janice.
Come here, Janice. Don't fight me. Don't fight me, Janice.
Yeah, oh, God.
Yeah, it's just, I can order you, and it's like,
don't fight
it. God.
It's like, ugh. Stop being rapey.
We get in, like, a minor fight scene that has a very, like, quick upskirt, too, by the way. That was
It does. I saw that. I was like, what? And she scratches his face.
She scratches him, so now we have a marking to distinguish the two Kirks from each other.
If he didn't get he was evil yet, let's have him try to rape someone. They get a scar in his face.
Yeah, exactly. So they talk with her, and in this scene, so like I said, this is probably my favorite episode of the three that we've watched.
Same.
But I do wish that the scene between actual good Kirk and Janice, I wish there was a little bit more sympathy from Kirk and him being like, "Hey, are you okay? I'm sorry this happened. Like, it wasn't me. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to fix this." But instead, it's a lot of Janice. It wasn't me, and it's like, Jesus, dude. Like,
and also, Janice was being like, "I'm sorry. I wouldn't have said anything. I would have kept it a secret. I know. I'm sorry. Just..."
She doesn't want to bring it up because she doesn't want him to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because she very...
Yeah, exactly. Which was a cool thing to have.
It was an interesting character trait. I was like, huh.
So when Evil Kirk is trying to rape Janice, you see another one of the officers sees it and tries to signal for help, but then Evil Kirk attacks him and knocks him out. So while this scene is going on with real Kirk and Janice talking, this guy like stumbles in from the back and just like, "No, Captain, it was you." And Bones is like, "Hey, go lie back down." It's like, all right, well, okay, well handled. So based on these two things, Spock goes, "There's only one possible conclusion.
Yeah.
You have a duplicate," which...
No, you're just being rapey.
No, I think that's, like, I thought that was funny, but I thought that was also a really touching moment from Spock, because it's him saying, and this is a Vulcan being, like, logical and emotionless. It is him saying that it is impossible for James T. Kirk to be like this. Like, there's no way that this was actually Jim. And that was a really touching thing with two witnesses to this. Spock's still just like, no, there's something else going on.
Yeah.
And also later when Spock's talking about the two halves of Jim Kirk.
Yeah, the good and the evil of man.
He's not able to be the best version of himself without his dark side.
Yeah, it was a great moment where he was like, your evil side helps you be a more determined captain.
Mm-hmm.
Because throughout the episode, actual Kirk starts to get it becomes more difficult for him to actually make decisions.
Somebody make the decision. Are you relinquishing your command, Captain?
And it's like, fuck, man.
No, it was good. I did like what they did. Yeah, I mean, my problems with the episode, it's not really a problem, but I think the reason this one isn't, like, my favorite is, as much as I love the acting of Shatner being over-the-top evil, the themes are too good, and it's too serious a story to have that where it doesn't clash for me a little bit. I still like it. Like, it's funny and touching.
I'm Captain Kirk!
I'm Captain Kirk. I'm Captain Kirk. It was bad, but it was fun. But then the rest of it was good. So
I think Kirk says it where he's like, "Can half a man live?" It's like, fuck.
I will say a lot of the time when I was watching this, there was a lot of this is really over the top and ridiculous and what. I think one of the things that made this episode so good for me is at the end seeing how it was written by Richard Matheson.
Yeah. Fuck.
That made it click so much more. For those of you who don't know, Richard Matheson is the author of I Am Legend, as well as various other short stories, and I think a couple other books that I haven't read. Mm-hmm. But a lot of his stories, they're all very much, well, I'd say most. There's a trend in his writing where it's a lot of man facing an actual physical manifestation of his inner demons, his worst fears, his own darkness. There's a lot of that. So, like, looking at it from that perspective, I appreciated it a lot more. And it just made the story very good for me. And I liked seeing Kirk sort of question his own morality, so I think this was a really good episode. And this is coming from someone who so far has not enjoyed the series that much so far.
Yeah.
So
anything else but Evil Within? I fucking loved it. Like, personally.
Oh, the Enemy Within?
Yeah, it's Evil Within?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, this episode's really, really fun. Over-the-top stuff that's to be expected from 60s Star Trek, but, just as capable of being really, really dark and really touching.
I'm warming up to it since I've been talking to it with you guys. At first, I was about to put it in a so bad it's good category, but I'm reconsidering that, putting it in the...
Also,
while you were joking that whole time, I was just sort of like, I really liked the episode.
Yeah, no, don't mistake me. It's not that I thought it was bad. I just thought that it was half of it was really compelling and the other half was just funny to me. But I love it still. Like I am warming up to it. I'm seeing the really good stuff more and more.
Some of the stuff of them being in the same frame at the same time was good. Like both the Kirks.
They did a pretty good job with that.
Some of it you could tell was a double.
Really bad.
The one time that I didn't like it was when he's hugging him in the transporter.
Oh, I didn't like it when he was on the bridge and you could see the obvious double turnaround.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
I didn't like, there's a shot of, I think it's Kirk and Spock going into an elevator, and then it closes, and there's a really, really obvious cut, and then you see evil Kirk, and it's like, oh.
And I love it whenever they're in the engineering room, they walk past, and then it obviously cuts, and then evil Kirk jumps down, and it's like, yeah. It's like, okay, whatever.
The hand one was the
hand covered in purple jam, by the way.
Again, maybe it's the TV I'm watching it on, but all of this looks a lot better to me.
Yeah, don't watch it on my TV then.
I think what makes me like it more also is that honestly those over the top funny moments make Evil Kirk's dark and threatening moments so much scarier.
That's true.
It reminds me a lot of, I'm not sure if Sal will get the reference, but Hiden and Kakazu in Naruto have like that same thing going where they're these two evil people and they're hilarious with each other. They have a bunch of really, really funny banter, but then they get like so dark and creepy and murder one of the characters, and it's just like, holy shit, this is terrifying to me.
I agree.
I don't watch none of them Japanese cartoons.
Shut up, you're still going through Naruto slower than a snail.
Oh,
but it's fine because we're in filler hell.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Oh, that's a conversation for another day.
So, Sal, you were going to do Mud's Women?
Okay, so the third and last episode of this week that we watched was Sexism the Episode. I mean Mud's Women. I'm sorry. Mud's Women. Oh, son of a bitch.
Space prostitutes.
Yeah, well...
This episode was so...
It was confused.
It was weird.
I was confused.
It told a bunch of different themes and messages. I didn't really understand what it was trying to say.
Let me get into the plot. So they're chasing this ship for some fucking reason. Probably because it's unregistered. I don't know. I think I missed why they were chasing it.
I don't know why they're police, but okay.
Why are they the fucking police? I don't... See, it even starts off fucking confusing.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on.
And I'm just like, are we chasing this ship? Why are we doing this? Whatever. So they're doing it and they're trying to hail them, but they're going to like an asteroid field or whatever, and they're not fucking responding. And then eventually they use up like a ton of their power to shield them because their shields broke, and then to transport them onto the Enterprise. And they transport 4 people. Their captain, Leo Walsh, and 3 attractive women for the 60s. And
I will say Maggie, the brunette with the slice down the top. Oh,
really? I like the blonde one with the short hair. personally.
No, Maggie all the way.
That's their thing though. They all latch onto a different person.
Oh. That's the theme, yeah.
Jesus. Oh yeah.
There's something magnetic about them. It's like,
yeah. So they transport this captain who looks like a fucking pirate, and
I thought he was a gay cowboy at first.
A gay cowboy.
I thought he was like a gay character from Star Wars universe.
I know he's Mud. I know that he's Mud going in, but I was like, gay cowboy? What?
Yeah. I mean, I know about Mud already. Like, all the episodes that we watched today I've already seen. So this was like, this is like going down memory lane. Yeah, so they bring him on and they're all like, bro, your ship's unregistered and you're not fucking Captain Leo Walsh. You're Harry, you're Harcourt Fenton Mudd, and you're wanted for like everything.
Yeah.
Also, there's a little bit, whenever the girls come on, Scotty and McCoy are like rock fucking hard looking at these girls. And at first I thought Spock was too, because he wasn't saying shit.
No.
And then eventually he was like, oh, you humans. And I'm like, oh, wait.
The look of disgust he gives McCoy later was legendary.
It was awesome.
He's like, Jesus, man, keep your dick in your pants.
Also, Mud calls Spock Vulcanian.
You're part Vulcanian, aren't you?
Yes.
Did anyone? What?
I was like, what?
Like, Mud, get your fucking shit together. Yeah. So as the chicks are walking through the Enterprise, everyone wants to fuck them.
But men will always be men no matter where they are.
Yeah.
Everyone they pass wants to stick their dick in that. That's their power. And of course,
it only affects men. It can't possibly affect women.
Yeah. I'm going to get into that because I have some fucking things I need to say. No, I have a rant. I think being the token LGBT person of the podcast, I have things to say.
You have a token person. You founded it. You son of a bitch.
I'm still the token. It's fine.
Okay, I'm the token Jew. Fine.
Yeah, man, you have that.
Yes.
This is a very character building episode of the podcast.
It is, yeah.
Character.
Go ahead, yeah.
So they subtly imply they have powers that make people have the hots for them. Early on, whenever they're finally in a room together alone, they call Leo Harry, and later on we find out that his real name is Harry Mudd.
Yeah, they're really bad about that.
Yeah, they said it like once, like as he walks in the room as they're all shouting, and then later on she's like Harry, and he's like shh, very obviously.
My darling,
like, are you serious? Also, I think this is the first time they've ever cursed on Star Trek, because both Scotty and Kirk call Leo a jackass.
That jackass Walsh not only wrecked his own vessel, but in saving his skin.
It makes you feel any better, engineer. That's one jackass we're going to see skinned.
Yes,
yeah,
I remember.
They do. I remember that distinctly.
Because Scotty says it, and then Kirk repeats it.
I'm like, damn.
I was like, wow, all right. I'm surprised Spock didn't just join in.
They had rape last episode. They're fine.
They're fine. And the computer can't.
The budget now.
The computer can't find anything on these women, by the way. But they kind of give their backstory that they're all from different planets and they were all very lonely. Like they only lived on the planet with their family, and they never saw any men, and they just want a good deep dicking, that kind of thing.
Basically, but since it's the '60s, they can't say they want sex. They have to want husbands.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
had to skirt around that.
They want husbands to cook for.
Yeah, and to care for their penises in their mouths. But so in trying to get these people, so now they basically want to they're gonna let the women go as soon as they can. But they're gonna, fucking arrest Harry Mudd because he's an asshole. Yeah, and in trying to get them onto the ship, they wasted like all their dilithium crystals. They're dilithium, right?
Actually,
Josiah?
They called them lithium.
The entire ship's power is feeding through one lithium crystal.
And I was like,
oh,
isn't it dilithium? But they're lithium, and so I'm curious. We'll get there eventually. But in Enterprise, if they call them dilithium, retcon.
Oh fuck. Yeah, so I'm going to call them dilithium.
Yeah.
They're lithium, but yeah, whatever. They're dilithium crystals. So they have one left and it has a crack in it. So they're planning on going to this mining planet called Rigel 12 to get more crystals. So Mudd has a plan to sell the women to the miners on Rigel 12. And
there's exactly 3 of them.
Yes, there's exactly 3 miners. And then he's going to plan to take over the Enterprise.
Yeah.
And then on the trip to Rigel 12, McCoy and Kirk get hit on. Kirk almost gets a good deep dicking, but then the chick's like, I can't do it. I care for you, but I can't do this, and runs away. Yeah. Then you find out that the women get old, and you're like, what?
they're ugly.
And they need these pills, and then they get young again. And like, the two that aren't important are all like, "Give us the pills, Harry." But our main chick is like, "I don't need them to be beautiful."
Can I interject real quick?
Mm-hmm.
How did the pills affect the equipment on McCoy's wall?
Yeah. What?
Magnets.
I don't like this episode. Anyway, so also I wrote a note here. Harry's plan hinders on the sexuality of the minors he does not know.
Right. They
so
could be gay.
His plan is to sell these chicks to the minors, who could or could not be asexual, homosexual, any number of things. Also, these minors could be women, and they could be heterosexual or asexual. He doesn't fucking know anything.
But
His plan,
he's Harry F. Mudd. He
but
plays the gambit.
his plan hinders on 60s heteronormativity, all right?
Hey, not even that. Future. Gay people don't exist in this world. Except for Sulu.
Except for Sulu. But okay, yes. It's not even just that it's based on... It's a utopian future. It's the Star Trek future, so there are people of all different,
but not gay people.
Sexualities and diversity here. So it's not that it's just the 60s not being future enough for the future they're portraying. It's a dumb plan. Why even...
Yeah, it's just like...
Because at any moment, if Kirk was a corrupt person, he could have gone down there, stunned all the miners, taken the crystals, and left Mudd there. Like,
yeah,
Mudd is assuming so many things.
Yeah, he's assuming that all the miners are men and are heterosexual. He's assuming that Kirk's not going to be a douchebag and just steal the goddamn crystals because he can, because it's Federation. They do whatever the fuck he wants. He has a fucking starship. He can just loot the entire planet and leave. He don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he don't give a fuck.
A weird side note. I'm gonna jump off the sexuality thing for a minute and go on to Uhura in yellow.
Yeah, that was weird production. Yeah.
Yeah. So they go down to the planet. Okay. So the miners come up. Two of the miners come up to the ship, and they're all like, "We want the women." And I'm like, "All right, that's not all right." And so basically, the plan is Kirk succeeds eventually, but the plan is. He's going to let the women marry the miners to get the crystals, and he's also going to give them Mudd so that Mudd can get away scot-free. They go onto the planet. There's this weird party that's happening where they're all dancing together, except for one of them, and they're kind of talking, and Kirk's there, and I don't know, it was fucking weird.
Luckily, there are perfectly 3 minors.
Yes, there's 3 perfectly heterosexual male minors.
The whole thing was confused. It was... So
many chances, so many things could have gone wrong at any time, and they didn't for some reason.
Except, yeah.
Eventually, it does, of course, but we keep getting coincidences until the episode ends. Is the thing.
Yeah, and then so she runs outside.
Yeah, Eve runs away because she's like the one guy who's hitting on her, and she didn't want to dance. Went away and hit on another girl, and then like
Maggie.
Yeah, and then she ran off, and then the miner goes up to find her. And Kirk and Spock go back up to the ship to scan her from the ship. And then the miner finds her, brings her back.
And then we have this really weird climax.
Where, like, he's being super just a douche to her.
Yeah.
And she's, like, cooking for him. And, like,
Jesus, man.
And, like, being nice. And he's all being, like, an asshole about it. Like, I cook my own food, blah, blah, and I don't need no women. It's like, what?
Yeah.
And then Spock go with Kirk and Mudd? No, it's just Kirk and Mudd. Kirk and Mudd go down to the planet. And Eve starts to get ugly, and the miner's like, "What happened to your looks?" And she's like, "This is how I truly am. It's all because of that pill." And Harry's like, "The Venus pill, aka the sexism pill, because this pill will make men more masculine and women more feminine." And it's like, what the fuck?
It changes their bodies, apparently.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
The part that makes me say, what the fuck was even going on is, so it's revealed she takes the pills. You don't want a wife, you want this. And then she eats gelatin thinking it's the pills, and she becomes beautiful again in the cut. And then she seduces him kind of, and then they're like, oh, and then Kirk's like, oh, those weren't the pills, those were just gelatin. It's just if you believe in yourself, and it was a placebo effect. I'm like,
believe in yourself. What? Believe in yourself.
I was like, so you're saying that beauty is just if I think I'm awesome? what the fuck?
Even when I don't want to be like this, and this is like a role that's being thrust on me.
Yeah, it was.
I was so confused
weird.
what the message was.
Yeah, the message was very garbled.
Oh, also, the racist Spock moment happens at 48 minutes and 50 seconds.
Smack right in the old eye. Oh, I'm sorry. In your case, it would be about here.
What was that one?
I don't remember. I just wrote it down as it happened.
Okay.
I forget.
It's probably the bit of where his heart is.
Yeah.
How
Yeah, it's when McCoy's like, because your heart's over here, you weirdo.
Yeah. One quote I wrote down that I actually liked was Bones goes to Maggie and he says,
Are you wearing some unusual kind of perfume or something radioactive, my dear?
I was just like, that was a good line.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
I don't have many more.
In summarization, I did not like this episode, really.
No.
It was fun.
Really?
It was fun, but it was very offensive.
I put it in a meh. Like, it's not really... Here's the thing. Is the thing that makes it... I think I like it more than you style is I actually like Mudd. I think... I do. I think the guy's a pretty good character actor.
Yeah. No, I do enjoy the character because he's so stupid and weird and silly, but... And I know, Nathan, spoilers, he comes back.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Mudd will return in I, Mudd.
No. Does he get more women?
No. It's a completely different plot.
Yeah.
Like,
it's very different, but it's still Mudd.
Yeah, Mudd is in, I think, 2 more episodes, and he's a lot better. Like, it's not this weird smuggling women thing. He just had a bad first run, man.
Yeah. It was a failed scheme.
Yeah. It was a weird episode. Like, I think we're all in agreement. We don't know what it was trying to say. I did like the old age makeup though. It was pretty good.
And I will say, because I am a white man in the US in the 21st century, so I am straight man in the 21st century. So it's impossible to offend me. So a 1960s show having 1960s sensibilities is not very offensive to me. If something like this was in the 2017 series, I'd be like, holy shit, guys. What? But I just kind of laughed at it because I was like, this is so absurd.
I didn't think it was, well, it's definitely a little offensive. It didn't affect me that much because they were clearly showing that none of this was good. Like, they weren't saying Mudd was a good guy and this is a good thing he's doing. It was still just really garbled. Yeah. But I'm more with Nathan. But I'm more on the side of, it was just kind of meh. It was,
I guess it offended me more because I'm like the token kind of like, because I'm like a bi guy. So I watched this and I'm like, what?
Pretty fly.
Hey, no, maybe those minors were bi and they just had such a close relationship that they just hated. They're like, yeah, women, yeah, we like those. But...
They did feel very Sherry. Like, they did feel very
minors on a desert planet.
Yeah.
Stuck there for like years. I mean, come now.
Yeah. So for me, watching this as being someone who's in like the LGBT community, I was like, what the fuck? This is a bit much. Like, everything relied on the fact that everyone was a straight person. And not only a straight person, but like a sexually active straight person.
Except Sulu.
Yeah. But like,
well, I think that was also the thing was that, all the characters wanting to bone them is, I think, well...
It was artificial, though.
Exactly, because those characters are not always like that, or no one would like watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was done to make it more apparent that it was an unnatural thing.
It was a weird episode. Also, Harry Mudd acted on the... Okay, so let's assume the minors are totally straight, okay? Yep. Harry Mudd acted on the assumption that these minors didn't take tours on this planet and had wives back home.
Yeah, well, that's why he contacted them. It was a last-ditch effort.
Yeah.
To escape.
But again, when he first had the plan, it was like, okay, so we're assuming that they permanently live here and they are straight and single.
Well, it's not that they were going to live there. It's that he was like, you'll like these guys because they can buy planets. Like, they're so rich.
And they look like shit.
They do. They were all... that was intentional, surely. Yeah. They casted a bunch of balding...
older gentlemen.
Looking gentlemen, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, my favorite episode of this watch through was The Enemy Within. Loved it. I wish Richard Matheson had wrote more Star Trek episodes, but alas, we do not have that.
Alas, poor evil Kirk. I knew him well.
The thing is that it was The Naked Time, because for me, my favorite because that's a classic. It's very close. I think my problems with Enemy Within are like dissipating, and I hold them kind of on the same level. I like both those. Mud's Women was meh. I didn't think it was bad, but it wasn't really good at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it in the meh. I have categories. I'll show a chart sometime, but overall, yeah.
Yeah, so next week or whenever we upload the next episode, we're going to be watching What Little Girls Are Made Of, Miri, and Dagger of the Mind.
Ooh, that last one.
Ooh. Yeah, so stick around for that bullshit, and we'll see you guys whenever we see you.
Farewell.
If everyone's done.
Yeah.
We're done? Alright, fuck it.
We can go back in time to any planet, any era.
We may risk it someday, Mr. Spock.
Well, you know you fucking won't.